Tina stretched lazily as she woke up, sunlight slipping past the thin curtains of her bedroom. From downstairs, her mother's voice carried up, calling her to get out of bed. At 18, Tina fit the image of a typical high school girl. She'd been a cheerleader, well-liked, and had even dated a football player, convenient, since she was already at every game to cheer him on. He had taken her to prom, a night she remembered fondly for the chance to dress up. Her prom gown still hung in her closet, chosen with her mother, and the corsage from that evening lay safely stored as a keepsake. At school, everyone simply accepted that Tina and Brad were together. They were always seen side by side, before school, between classes, at lunch, and after school. If they weren't on a date on Friday nights, one of them was busy elsewhere. Today was important for her. She and her mother planned to get their hair and nails done in preparation for her high school graduation. But this day held bigger surprises for Tina, one she wasn't expecting. What no one else knew was that Tina was hiding two life-changing secrets. She'd recently discovered she was pregnant, a result of one careless night before prom. Luckily, the pregnancy wasn't yet visible, so she had managed to enjoy the night without suspicion. Her plan now was to enroll in the local community college and face life as a young single mother. Her second secret was even more extraordinary. She hadn't always been Tina. Just 2 years earlier, she had been Tyler. Tyler had been an ordinary 16-year-old boy who loved sports, though he lacked the skills to join any teams. He tried out for football but wasn't strong or fast enough. Basketball hadn't worked either. He wasn't tall enough to compete. Instead, the coach had let him help out as a trainer, assisting wherever needed. Tyler stood about average height at 5 feet 6 inches, with short brown hair and brown eyes. He dealt with the usual teasing from taller boys, but it was the kind of rough camaraderie common among classmates, and he gave back as good as he got. One day, things changed. It had been a near-perfect morning. He'd gotten his license on the first attempt and had some birthday money to spend. His parents, reluctantly, had let him take the car alone, hoping he'd gain driving experience. Keys in hand, Tyler set out, feeling proud and free. Taking back roads to stretch out his first solo drive, he stumbled onto a street he'd never seen before. A small, old brick building caught his attention halfway down the block. Large front windows displayed a simple message: new and used books bought and sold. Curious, Tyler parked nearby, locked the car, and walked toward the shop. A bell jingled as he opened the door, the scent of old paper and dust filling the air. The dim lighting came from a few scattered bulbs, their light blocked by tall shelves crammed with books. From behind the counter, an elderly man emerged. Pale from years indoors, with a long gray beard and a thin frame that belied hidden strength, the man greeted him. "Good day. Looking for something in particular?" Tyler shook his head. "Just browsing. You've got a lot of books. This is probably the largest used bookstore in the city, maybe even the state. Take your time. Let me know if you need help." And with that, Tyler wandered into the shadows between the shelves, unaware that his life was about to change forever. Tyler wandered through the aisles, glancing at rows of neatly organized books. Categories ranged from history and science to science fiction, sports, self-help, romance, which he mentally scoffed at, and religion. Eventually, he reached a shadowy corner of the store where a sign simply read occult. Curious, he scanned the shelves, spotting titles about fortune-telling, curses, and spellcraft. One book in particular seemed to draw his attention. Unlike the others, this one almost felt alive. Though old, it was in surprisingly good condition, bound with a brass clasp. The title on the spine was too faded to read. Tyler lifted the book carefully, almost respectfully. Despite its size, it felt oddly light. As he held it, the worn letters on the cover shimmered and shifted until they formed the clear title, Spells and Incantations. He sat on the floor, resting the book on his lap. Undoing the clasp, he opened it gently. A faint scent of age drifted up as he flipped through the yellowed pages. He waited as the words settled into readable text, the letters shifting as if adjusting themselves for him. Flipping to a random page, he read a heading, "Them." Curious, he scanned the description. According to the passage, this spell would allow the caster to be in multiple places at once, performing several tasks simultaneously. That could come in handy, Tyler thought, smirking at the idea. Maybe I could be my own football team. Or go on 2 dates at once. Another section labeled levitation promised the ability to make objects float. He couldn't resist trying it. Pulling a second book from the shelf, he placed it in front of him and focused. Reading the chant softly, he watched in amazement as the book floated slightly off the ground. Repeating the words a second time, it rose higher. A third attempt sent it nearly to the ceiling. As he skimmed more pages, Tyler found spells for teleportation, invisibility, and transformation, each with instructions for casting on either objects or people. I need this book, he thought, determined. With both the spellbook and a regular sci-fi collection in hand, Tyler headed to the counter. He placed them before the old shopkeeper. I'd like to buy these. Assuming they're not too expensive. The old man paled slightly when he saw the spellbook. He lifted it carefully. Are you sure about this one? I really want it, Tyler answered confidently. It's not cheap. Tyler shrugged. As long as it's less than my birthday money, I'm good. The shopkeeper hesitated, looking troubled. What did you say? It's my 16th birthday. My grandparents sent me some money. The old man tilted his head, as if listening to someone Tyler couldn't hear. He muttered irritably, Yes, I know what that means. Turning back to Tyler, the man spoke more clearly. We have a tradition here. Anyone celebrating their 16th birthday gets a free book. If you're certain you want this one, I'll have to give it to you, no charge. But think carefully, are you sure? Tyler nodded without hesitation. Yes. And thank you. Very well. Be careful with it. Don't try more than one spell at a time. It can be dangerous. That'll be $5 for the other book. Tyler handed over a $5 bill from his wallet. The man placed both books in a paper bag, slid over the receipt, and warned softly, We're not responsible for anything that happens if you use that book. Tyler, unimpressed by the theatrics, muttered, Yeah, sure. Whatever. He grabbed the bag and left. From there, he headed to the mall, sticking to his original plan. He picked up 2 video games with the money he had left, then finally drove home. Pulling into the driveway, he noticed his parents' car was gone. Mom must be at the store, he thought, relieved. That gave him a chance to sneak the spellbook into his room unnoticed. Inside the house, he called out to check. Mom? Dad? Anyone home? Silence. Satisfied he was alone, he hurried upstairs with the bag. He planned to dive straight into exploring the book spells until his stomach growled. In all the excitement, he'd forgotten lunch. In the kitchen, a note on the fridge explained that his dad had taken his mom to a movie and they'd be back by evening. Tyler had 3 or 4 hours alone. He planned to use that time experimenting with the mysterious book. Tyler carried a plate of cookies and a soda up to his room. Settling onto his bed, he opened the old spellbook again. The next spell he found was teleportation. It described how to move objects from one place to another, provided the caster clearly pictured the destination. He decided to test it. Staring at the plate of cookies, he visualized his desk across the room and spoke the incantation carefully. The plate shimmered, vanished, and instantly reappeared, though dangerously close to the desk's edge. Looks like I'll need practice to control this, Tyler muttered. Flipping to another spell, he found invisibility. Focused on repeating the words exactly, he didn't notice when the spell activated. Only when he glanced down and saw the spellbook floating midair did he realize his body had vanished. His class ring, hovering in midair where his hand should have been, confirmed it. Awesome. Halloween's going to be interesting, he grinned, his mind already racing with mischievous possibilities. He continued browsing until he found a spell titled Transformation. The instructions explained that the caster needed a clear mental image of the intended form for the spell to work well. Reversing the change required simply visualizing the original form and reciting the spell again. Feeling adventurous, Tyler decided to try transforming himself. He reasoned that changing into something, or someone, who could speak would allow him to undo the spell afterward. He flipped through his school yearbook, piecing together an image of a typical girl his own age. Satisfied with the details in his mind, he chanted the spell. A tingling sensation spread through his body as the magic took hold. Moments later, everything settled. Tyler looked down and realized something was different. He was now wearing a cheerleader uniform identical to the ones from his school, a blue and white skirt, matching sweater, socks, and shoes. Rushing to the bathroom, he stared at the reflection in disbelief. A pretty cheerleader looked back at him, a girl with soft features, brown eyes, and long blonde hair tied back in a ponytail. Everything about his reflection felt surreal. He ran his hands over the unfamiliar uniform and cautiously studied the changes, noticing the weight and presence of certain features he hadn't expected. Standing there in stunned silence, Tyler slowly processed that he wasn't just dressed like a cheerleader, he had actually become one. Then, realizing he needed time to think, he stepped back from the mirror, unsure what to do next. Tyler found an open box of tampons in the cabinet above the toilet. Reading the instructions brought a sense of unease. That's supposed to go inside me? He wondered. Still, an odd instinct told him he needed to use one. Hesitant but curious, he unwrapped one of the tampons and, after carefully following the instructions, managed to insert it successfully. To his surprise, it was more comfortable than expected. Back in his room, he glanced at the clock. His parents would be home soon, and he definitely didn't want to be caught like this. Unsure whether the spell would work on his clothes or just his body, he decided to put the cheerleader outfit back on to be safe. After struggling a bit with the bra, he finally managed. He closed his eyes, focused on an image of himself as he used to be, and began reciting the reversal spell. A familiar tingling spread through his body, and when he opened his eyes, he was back to normal, a boy again. Not wanting anyone to discover the spell book, he hid it deep in the corner of his closet, knowing he'd soon return to it. He barely had time to start one of his new video games when his mother called up, "Tyler, we're back." "I'm up here, Mom." "Just playing my new game," he answered. "Come down, we're going out for dinner." "Coming." At dinner, Tyler chatted with his parents about his video game and their plans for the next day. He kept silent about the bookstore and the mysterious book he'd bought. In the back of his mind, though, he was already thinking about what to try next. That night, after his parents went to bed, Tyler carefully retrieved the hidden book and resumed his experiments. He focused on teleportation, starting with short jumps, to the garage and back. When that worked, he tried the street corner a few blocks away, then the front of his school 3 miles off. Each jump took more energy, but with rest, he could continue. A plan began forming. He'd fake being sick, stay home from school, wait until classes started, then teleport unseen into the school. Using the invisibility spell, he could explore without being noticed. His target, the girls' locker room. The thought alone fueled his excitement. The next morning, he claimed illness when his mother checked on him. She asked questions, but he insisted he had a headache and nausea. Accepting his excuse, she instructed him to rest and left for work. Once alone, Tyler prepared for his plan. He rehearsed the invisibility spell, but quickly discovered 2 serious problems. First, anything he carried, including written instructions, would also turn invisible, meaning he'd have to memorize the reversal spell. Second, without being able to see his hands, opening doors was nearly impossible. His ambitious plan would have to wait. With the house empty and the day free, he decided to focus instead on exploring more of the spellbook's possibilities and experimenting with safer spells. He knew he needed much more practice before attempting anything risky. Tyler opened the spellbook again, turning to what he thought was the transformation spell. What he didn't realize was that 2 pages had stuck together. Instead of a simple transformation spell, he was now reading a spell designed to alter reality itself. Focused on the image of the girl he wanted to become, he recited the incantation. As before, he felt his body shift, his frame narrowing, hair lengthening, and other changes setting in. Something felt different this time, but he brushed it off, assuming it was just his memory playing tricks. When the changes settled, he opened his eyes and hurried to the bathroom mirror. The girl staring back at him was beautiful. But unlike before, she wasn't wearing a cheerleader's uniform. She wore a stylish black floral dress with thin shoulder straps and a skirt that hovered just above the knees. Silver ballet flats completed the outfit. Looking closer, he noticed her makeup, long lashes, soft eyeshadow highlighting her bright blue eyes, and pink lips that seemed naturally perfect. Her cheeks held a gentle blush, enhancing her pale complexion. Golden blonde hair framed her face, partially covering small gold earrings that dangled little stars. Tyler ran slender fingers over his smooth face, noticing how his hands had changed, longer, neatly manicured nails polished in matching pink. Even his toenails, he discovered after slipping off a shoe, were done to match. Wow, this is more detailed than last time, he thought, staring at the reflection. Then he felt something else, something unfamiliar. Heading to the toilet, he realized he'd changed internally too. Confused and unnerved, he found himself dealing with supplies he never expected to need. This spell did more than change how I look, he thought anxiously. It changed everything. After finishing in the bathroom, he automatically handled everything with surprising ease, as if the knowledge came instinctively. At that moment, the phone rang. Startled, Tyler stood quietly at the top of the stairs, listening. After 4 rings, the answering machine picked up. His mother's voice echoed through the house. "Hi, sweetheart. It's Mom. Just checking in to see how you're feeling. I guess you're either resting or in the bathroom. No need to call me back. I'll check on you later. Love you." As the message ended, Tyler stood frozen, realizing just how much deeper the magic had taken him. Tyler stepped back into his room with a sigh, but immediately sensed something wasn't right. The walls, once painted blue, were now a pale white tinged with pink. Gone were the posters of sports stars, cars, and football teams. In their place were images of ballerinas, famous women's soccer players, and a popular boy band. One poster even had a handwritten note, to Tina, a very cute fan, Justin. Photos of the school's soccer team and cheerleading squad decorated another wall, and what stunned him most was recognizing himself in both. The girl he had seen in the mirror was pictured smiling in a team jersey and also in cheerleader gear. The bed was different too. The comforter and sheets were pastel shades with lace trim, and scattered across the bed were stuffed animals, puppies, bears, kittens, and a unicorn. Dolls sat propped against the pillows. One, clearly worn and well-loved, immediately brought a name to mind, Puffy. "What is happening?" Tyler whispered, fear creeping in. Just then, music, specifically the theme from Pirates of the Caribbean, began playing from somewhere in the room. Following the sound, he found a small purse on his desk, next to a collection of makeup. Inside the purse, a phone was ringing. He grabbed it just as it stopped, showing a new voicemail. Nervously, he played the message. A girl's voice greeted him casually, "Hi Tina, it's Brooke. Missed you at school today. Hope it's not, that time of the month. Ugh, cramps are the worst. Anyway, Megan, Susan, Patty, and I are heading to the mall Saturday. Maybe nails and shopping? Let us know if you're up for it. Hope you feel better. See you soon." Tyler stood frozen, pulse racing. He moved toward the closet and hesitated before pulling open the door. Dresses, skirts, blouses, capris, and designer jeans filled the space. None of his old clothes remained. Neatly organized shoes lined the shelves above, sandals, flats, boots, and heels, dozens of pairs in every color. He turned to the chest of drawers but stopped when he noticed a jewelry box sitting on top. Opening its glass door revealed rows of necklaces. Small drawers held bracelets, ankle chains, toe rings, and even a dainty class ring like the ones worn by girls at school. Next to the jewelry box sat a clear plastic organizer loaded with earrings, 30 pairs in all. With growing dread, he opened the top dresser drawer and found rows of neatly folded panties, many styled with colorful trims or days of the week stitched across the back. Alongside them were matching bras, mostly white, but some pink, tan, blue, and patterned. Tyler stepped back, overwhelmed. His entire world had been rewritten. And he had no idea how, or if, it could be undone. In the next drawer, Tyler found delicate nightwear, 3 short nightdresses, a couple of satin sleep shorts with matching tank tops, and 2 sets of girly pajamas. There were also a few slips, 2 half slips with lace-trimmed hems and 1 full slip with lace across the top and bottom. Another drawer held an assortment of knee-high socks, ankle socks, fuzzy booties in different colors, pantyhose, and tights. Most of the pantyhose were tan and sheer, while the tights were mostly black. He guessed they matched the sweater dress he'd seen hanging in the closet. In the last drawer, he discovered swimsuits. One was a basic black one-piece. Another was a blue tankini with short-cut bottoms. A third was a floral bikini in shades of pink and blue. And the last was a white two-piece with colorful dots and side ties. At the bottom of the drawer, he found a floral wrap skirt that likely paired with the bikinis. Staring at the contents, Tyler sat down, overwhelmed. What is happening to me? Did I mess up that spell somehow? Before he could investigate, he heard the front door open. His mom was home. Panic flooded him. He dove into bed, pulling the covers over himself just as he heard footsteps approaching. His mother entered and sat beside him. Her voice was gentle. "Sweetheart, how are you feeling? I left work early to check on you. I know how rough those cramps can be. Do you want me to get the heating pad?" Tyler hesitated. "Thanks, Mom. I'll be fine. If you need anything, just call me. You know you're my angel, right, Tina?" she whispered affectionately, and then quietly left the room. Tyler lay there in shock. Tina? His own mother didn't recognize him as her son. As soon as he was sure she was downstairs, he crept to the hidden book and desperately searched for the spell to undo everything. He found the original transformation spell and tried to memorize it. Closing his eyes, he recited the words carefully. Nothing changed. Again and again, he repeated the spell, but every time he opened his eyes, he was still standing in the girl's dress, in a girl's room, with a girl's voice. Tears welled in his eyes. "What have I done?" he whispered, fear taking over. Later that evening, Tyler heard the front door open and his father return home. Soon after, his mother called upstairs, "Tina, dinner's almost ready. Wash up and come down." Defeated, Tyler wiped his tears and slowly walked downstairs, dreading what came next. His mother continued cooking, her back to him. His father sat behind his newspaper, oblivious to Tyler's entrance. Forcing himself to speak, Tyler called out softly, "Mom. Dad. I need to tell you something." His voice startled him, it sounded completely feminine. Without turning, his mother replied, "What is it, dear?" "I've changed," Tyler said, fear tightening his throat. "Of course you have, sweetheart. Everyone grows up." "No. I mean really changed. Something happened. I'm different now." His mother finally turned around, eyeing the wrinkled dress he wore. "Oh, honey. Did you stay in that dress all day? Even when you were resting? You should have just worn pajamas." "Well, no worries. I'll wash it, those wrinkles will come out." Tyler could only stand there, helpless, unsure how to explain what even he couldn't understand. "No, Mom. Please listen to me. When you and Dad left this morning, I was a boy. Now, I'm a girl. His father didn't react, continuing to read the newspaper. His mother shook her head. That's enough joking. I was there when you were born, Tina. You've always been a girl. Now sit down and eat. Tyler sat silently through the meal, listening as his parents chatted about their day. Other than a few casual questions directed his way, he said little, eating quietly as he struggled to process what had happened. After dinner, he excused himself, saying he wanted to get ready for tomorrow. As he stepped toward his room, his mother called out, "Don't forget, picture day at school tomorrow. And cheerleading tryouts after school." "I know, Mom," he answered automatically, confused. He hadn't known. Back in his room, he turned to the spell book once again, frantically searching for a way to undo the spell. Using the index, he looked for any hint of a reversal, only to discover that the page referencing the spell he needed had been torn out. Later that night, he heard the phone ring. His mother answered and, moments later, called up to him. "Tina! That was your coach. Tryouts are delayed until next Tuesday. And you've got a big day tomorrow, so I want you getting ready for bed now." "Yes, Mom," he called back weakly. He changed out of his clothes, now too used to wearing the unfamiliar undergarments to question them, and carefully checked the hallway before slipping into the bathroom. There, he found a bottle of makeup remover. Reading the instructions, he removed the last traces of makeup from his face, carefully wiping away the eyeshadow and mascara. Then, following the instructions on a tube labeled face scrub, he washed his face thoroughly, scrubbing until his skin felt fresh and clean. Looking in the mirror afterward, he saw the same girl he'd been seeing all day, only now without makeup. Her complexion looked clear, healthy, and glowing from the face wash. He brushed his teeth and, without thinking, brushed out his long hair too. After using the toilet, he quietly returned to his room. He had just taken off his bra when his mother walked in, catching him off guard. Embarrassed, he crossed his arms over his chest. But she only smiled. "Nothing to be shy about, sweetheart. I used to change your diapers, remember? And I was there when you got your first bra." Turning away in embarrassment, Tyler reached under his pillow for what felt like the least embarrassing thing to wear, a simple pink nightgown. Slipping it over his head, he felt slightly more comfortable once covered. It fell softly over his form, ending just past his hips. His mother watched with her usual gentle patience. "I just came to check if you've decided what to wear for picture day." "I haven't," Tyler mumbled. "No problem. Let me help." She rummaged in the closet and pulled out an outfit, a short white skirt with pleats and a pale blue blouse. She added a pair of silver flats and suggested, "And maybe wear tan pantyhose with this." She hung the outfit on the closet door, smiling warmly before leaving him alone. Tyler sat down on the bed, overwhelmed. His world had changed, and no matter what he tried, he couldn't find a way back. Good. Now get some rest. You'll need to wake up early to shower and get your hair and makeup done before school. As she walked out of the room, she called softly over her shoulder, "Sweet dreams, sweetheart." Lying down, Tyler felt a single tear slide down his cheek. His final thought before sleep took him was simple, desperate: this has to be a dream. Tomorrow, everything will be back to normal. Don't forget to join me on Patreon for exclusive content.